Hello and welcome guys, and welcome to this video. And in this video we are going to discuss the most important aspect of your career, of your being a cost accountant, that is articleship program or practical training program, which is to be done by CMA students. Now guys, this is one thing which can actually make or break your career. If you get an opportunity to work in a company which provides you adequate resources, which provide you adequate knowledge, then your campus placement is definitely going to boost up like anything. But if unfortunately you don't get an opportunity to work in your practical training program with a reputed company or with a CMA firm which offers you enough food for thought for all of you, then you might face some challenges in your campus placement. So in today's video I'm going to discuss the procedure of the practical training, when it is to be started, which forms are to be filled, in what areas do we need to do practical training, which CMA firms, CA firms, CS firms, companies are eligible to provide you with the articleship or the practical training. I'm going to cover all these concepts, all these information in detail in today's video. But let me first tell you what is the source where you can get all this material from. Where's the source where you can actually see the procedural aspect of this practical training? Guys, the source is Prospectus Syllabus 2022, which is uploaded on the website of the institute. You can go over there, check out this particular prospectus, and in this prospectus, if you turn to page number 105, that is the page where all the critical links, all the critical elements of practical training are disclosed. So I'm directly moving on to page number 105. This is the index, guys, and in this index, if you refer to a fifth point, then the annexure contains page number 5. Annexure contains the details of practical training, and here you will get all the links of all the forms which I'm going to tell you just now. Here you will get all the links of what all things are required very easily. So this document is going to come very handy for all of you. So please download this document, save it on your laptops or computers for future reference as well. I have, and in past also I had saved this document on my computer screen. This document is always available with me. It acts as a ready referencer for all my queries regarding anything related to our curriculum or our training program. Everything is available in this particular document. So guys, a very important document. Today I'm going to discuss annexure 5 of this particular document. Yes, if you want me to discuss other annexures as well, if you want me to tell you about something else as well, please do comment in the comment section below and tell me what else after watching this entire video. What are your queries? What else do you want me to make a video on? What things are unclear to you about the CMA curriculum or the CMA course? Of course, not academic but procedural part. Comment on this video and tell me what all do you want to know, and I'll make a separate video on those topics or on those elements. Today's video focuses on Annexure 5, the practical training program of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. And for facilitating this discussion, this entire document has been summed up by me in a chart. So through a chart, I'll explain you the entire procedure very easily. But nonetheless, guys, it's always advisable to read this practical training guide, because this will give you an insight on the practical training. This will give you a detailed glance of what practical training entails. So it's always advisable to read this particular document. Okay, before we start our discussion on the practical training, guys, a very information for CMA Intermediate students who have appeared for group 1 and they are planning to appear for group 2, or if they have given their CMA foundation and awaiting their results and they are planning to take classes for group 1. Guys, direct taxation, indirect taxation, audit. So first of all, let me talk about this combo of audit and IDT, which is group 2 old syllabus. Audit and GST, these are the two subjects which are there in old syllabus 2016 for intermediate students. So there's an amazing discount which is going on these combos. Okay, audit being taught by me, direct taxation being taught by me, IDT being taught by me. All these 3 subjects are being taught by me for intermediate students. So guys, we have amazing combos for all of you. You can opt for these combos, and these are the numbers which are given on the screens. You can call on these numbers, and you can get these combos at an amazing price. The USP which I offer to all of you, and this is the USP of my entire academy, all the faculties whom I have associated with. The USP is that we purely and purely refer to CMA study material. Guys, CMA study material is definitely a ready referencer for you for your examination, all your examination needs. Please remember, always refer to CMA study material, and it's always preferable to take coaching from faculties who are referring only and only to CMA study material, because even if someone is saying direct tax remains the same in CA and other courses, guys, the fact of the matter is there are several provisions, there are several sections, there are several subsections, there are several sections of law which are different in other courses and CMA. So a teacher who's teaching both CA, CS, CMA, all three together, he cannot justify the course of CMA, because CA syllabus is very different from CMA syllabus. CS syllabus is very different from CMA syllabus. But the USP of these courses, which at least I offer and my faculty, co-faculty members offer, is that the classes are strictly based on the curriculum which are prescribed by CMA Institute. You will not find anything extra or anything less. Exactly what CMA study material refers to, all the questions, all the theoretical portions are being referred to in the video lectures. So this is one thing which a really distinguishing factor of these particular video lectures. Please make the most use of it. The discount is going on for DT, IDT as well as audit. All three papers discount is going on. Please make most use of it. Alright, so let's start our discussion on the lecture of the practical training of the CMA prospectus. Now, first of all, what do you mean by practical training? Practical training means that apart from a theoretical training, you need to get guidance, you need to get mentored, practically hands-on experience on various aspects of finance, accounting, costing, taxation, management consulting, etc., under a professional, under a company, or under a infrastructure which is actually streamlined infrastructure for providing you training with respect to these things in an industrial setup, in industries or CMA firm. That is the objective of practical training. Yes, all the three courses, CSCS, CMA, have practical training requirements varying on the number of years or number of months which are applicable in each of the courses, but all three of them have this practical training requirement, because one thing is for sure, only theoretical knowledge is not going to take you anywhere. You need to have knowledge which is theoretical as well as practical, and for that particular purpose, the practical training is a must, is an essential thing which is a non-compromisable at all. Okay, so now CMA Practical Training Scheme, we are referring to the CMA Practical Training Scheme. One thing which is important to be noted over here is that this particular scheme is actually referring to the students who are registered in intermediate on or after 11th February 2020. So this is the new scheme of training. Those intermediate students who have registered on or after 11th February 2020, for them this scheme is applicable. For the students who are registered before 11th February 2020, for them the old scheme is applicable. So this particular video is for the new scheme students, and currently I believe that now a couple of years have already passed, so I think most of the students are in the new scheme. So this particular video is dedicated to the new scheme students who are registered on or after 11th February 2020. If you are an old scheme student, then please comment in the section, in the comment section, and let me know if I want to make a detailed video on the old scheme as well. I'll make a video on the old scheme if I get enough comments in the comment section. This is for the new scheme, for the students who are registered on or after 11th February 2020 in the CMA Intermediate. If you have taken your registration, then this scheme is applicable to. Now, first of all, how many years of practical training is required? Guys, 3 years of practical training is required. Okay, please be aware, 3 years of practical training is required. 15 months before the results of final, 21 months after the results of final. So the practical training is split between before the results of final and after the results of final. 15 months you need to do immediately before appearing in the both of the groups of the final. 15 months you have to complete before the results date, and I'll explain you what do you mean by before the result date. Okay, I'll explain you. All these words are very, very critical while understanding this scheme. Okay, so 15 months before your finals, 21 months after your finals, and then your practical training will be assumed to be completed. So Now we'll be focusing currently in my video on this 15 months which has to be finished, which has to be completed before the results of the final are declared. So guys, one very important thing to be noted over here is students who are giving both groups of final, only they are required to complete their training of 15 months before the results of final. If you are giving only one group of final, then you need not complete this training. I mean, you can undergo the training, you can simultaneously have the training in place, but you need not file some form in the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. You can do it at ease. But if you are appearing in both the groups, then definitely you need to pre-fill these forms and submit your forms before giving examination for both the groups. If you have cleared one group of final and you are appearing in the second group of final, then also guys, you need to complete this training before you appear for the second group of final. So this particular training is not mandatory for students who are appearing just for one group of final. So for appearing in one group of final, you can appear without completing this training, no problem at all. But if you have to appear for both the groups of final, then you first have to complete this training and then you can appear for the both groups of the final. Or if you are appearing for the second group of final, I mean first group you have already cleared, second group you are planning to appear now, then you have to complete this training before appearing in the first group of final. Okay, so one group of final may be given without completing the practical training. One group, if you are giving one group, then it may be done without practical training. But if you are giving both the groups, then practical training is required to be completed. Now, the requirement is, please note the words, okay? It's very, very important. The requirement is that you have to complete 15 months of training before results of your examination comes, okay? So the requirement is not that for appearing in the examination you have to complete 15 months. For appearing in the examination you don't have to complete 15 months. Before the result you have to complete 15 months, okay? So suppose your exams are in December and your result comes in March, okay? So till March you have to complete 15 months. Not till December when you are giving examination. This is very, very important, which is this is an important aspect which you need to decipher from this particular language. Now, what have they done? Okay, let me first of all tell you a completion milestone. Then I'll come when should the training be started. Okay, so completion milestone is that for June attempt, on or before 20th or 28th or 29th February, your 10 months of training should be completed. So for if you are giving your June attempt, then your training should be completed for 10 months up till 28th or 29th February of the preceding February before June. And yes, if 10 months are completed till February end, then you have March, April, May, June, 4 months for the examination, and then further 3 months for the results or 2 months for the results. In this wholesome period till your result, you can complete the balance 5 months. So 10 months certificate you want, this is a completion milestone, 10 months completion you want before appearing in both of the groups of the final. 10 months completion certificate is required by you. You have to submit this certificate on or before 20th or 29th February if you are appearing for June attempt. You can submit this certificate on or before 31st of August if you are appearing for December attempt. That is the timeline which you need to follow for submitting this completion certificate of 10 months of training. Okay, 5 months you can complete before the results are announced. Okay, that is the bifurcation, that is the split. That is a very important point which you need to understand over here. Form T5 is the relevant form which is to be filled when you complete your training of 10 months within this timeline. Okay, Form T5. Okay, now when should we start the training? Guys, the training can be started immediately as soon as you take registration in intermediate. Yes, without even giving one group of intermediate, you can start your training. Even if you have given one group of intermediate, you can start your training. Even if you have given two groups of the intermediate, you can start your training. Whether you have qualified intermediate, whether you have not qualified intermediate, you can start your training. So training starting point is when you register for intermediate examination, you can immediately start your training with the relevant people whom I'll be pointing out in the further discussion. Okay, so starting point is intermediate registration. You can start your training immediately as soon as you get yourself registered in intermediate, and if you plan to simultaneously pursue your articleship training, practical training, then within 30 days of commencement of your training, so suppose you plan to join a CMA firm, okay, within 30 days you need to file form T1 or T4. This is an option given to two kind of articleships. Okay, T1 is when you are doing your articles from a CMA firm. T4 is when you are doing your articleship from any other organization apart from CMA firm. So these are the two forms which you need to fill soon as you start your articleship within 30 days of commencement of your articleship. That is how starting of the articleship should happen. Okay. Then completion milestone, I've already discussed with you. 10 months of your training should be completed on or before 20th or 29th Feb for your June attempt, and 10 months of your articleship should be completed on or before 31st August for your December attempt. That is the completion milestone. It's not completed training, but it's a milestone which you need to achieve before you appear for the examination. You won't be allowed to appear for the examination if you have not completed 10 months of training before these timelines. Okay. 5 months can be done afterwards. 5 months can be done afterwards, but 10 months should be completed within these two timelines. Now, a very, very important section, guys. It says exemption. Who can claim exemption from this training? So, guys, any one of you who has already, even before registering for intermediate, if you have already worked under these organizations, the organization which I'm going to talk about just now, if you've already acquired practical knowledge from these institutions or training areas, you've already done that, then you can apply for exemption that you don't require any training. Get a certificate from these organizations, attach the requisite documents in form T3. T3 is the exemption form, and you will be exempted from the training. But the timeline for the training is for June attempt, the exemption should be taken on or before 31st of May. For December attempt, on or before 30th of November. So guys, 1 month prior to your attempt, you need to submit your T3 for claiming exemption in articleship. Then you will be exempted from these articleship regulations. But yes, you need to submit an experience certificate. There's a requirement of an experience certificate from any of these organizations to be able to claim this exemption. So exemption is available only if you have taken your training in the relevant areas which I'm going to tell right now from the relevant organizations which I'm going to tell you right now. So exemption provision is form T3. So guys, we have discussed form T1, T3, T4, T5. These are the relevant forms, and I'll also tell you where is the link of these relevant form. Let me show you outrightly the link which are there. Okay, so I've come back to the prospectus, guys. Okay. Yes, all the forms T1, T4, T5 relating to practical training can be downloaded from the following link. So guys, this is the link which opens as soon as I click on the prospectus. So prospectus contains link to these forms, and guys, these are the forms which you need to fill for your submission. T1, and mind it, guys, mind it, these are all online forms. You need not punch data in it or write data in it and send it to the institute. No, these are all online forms. Okay. So this is the T1 form. This is the T4 form. Intimation for CMA. T4 is for the organizations. T1 is for CMA forms. If CMA forms, you are getting articleship in CMA form. And the third one is T5 form. This is the T5 form. So the link gives you these forms as well. You can just download these forms and then just online apply for whatever you want. Starting of your articleship, commencement, ending of your articleship, or exemption. All these things you can actually take. Okay, then now comes the most important part. Okay, and the queries which I get regarding practical training, out of 10, at least 7 queries are related to this aspect. So the question is, from where can we do our articleship? From where? So please understand the regulation very, very clearly, guys. Okay, if you don't meet these eligibility criteria, you won't be allowed your articleship, practical training, your condition will not be fulfilled. So these conditions are required to be fulfilled. Bang on. Very, very important. Okay. Number 1, you can do your practical training under a practicing cost accountant or a firm of cost accountants, which means one and the same thing. So if there's an individual cost accountant or there's a firm of cost accountants, you can do your practical training from that. That is an ideal place, guys, because for us cost accountants, costing is something which comes naturally to us, which is in our blood. So cost accountancy firm is the best place where we can actually learn the skills and the nitty-gritties of costing. So this is the first option. Form T1 is required to be filled if you are starting your training in a practicing cost accountancy firm. And yes, the training can start soon as you register with intermediate. Okay, can start from that date itself. Now, second, and a very confusing provisions which is there in the prospectus. Even I had to read it 5 times, 6 times. I had to consult some experts before giving you the final guys interpretation. Biggest question that students ask me, sir, can we do our articleship under a practicing chartered accountant or a company secretary? Can we do it? The answer is yes, you can do it. The only condition is that these partnership firms, these CA firms or CS firms should have a separate management consulting division, and you have to work exclusively in those management consulting divisions. So if a CA firm has a separate management consulting division and you do your articleship in that management consulting division, the credit is given to you. But if you are there in a CA firm which does not have a management consulting division and you work under other areas like some taxation, accountancy, costing, then you won't be given any credence for it. So please note that whenever you go for an interview to a CA firm or a CS firm, please ask them, sir, do you have management consulting division? If yes, can I work exclusively in that management consulting division? Because I'll be given credit only when I work in the management consulting division. Management consulting. So what is management consulting, guys? Management consulting division is the division of a organization which consults the top management on how to run the organization, how the structure is to be streamlined, how the production process is to be streamlined to reduce cost and increase efficiency, and all that stuff. So this is a prime requirement if you are working under a practicing CA or a CMA, that you have to work under a management consulting division of these firms. Only then credit will be given to you. Otherwise, credit will not be given to you. So CA, CMA firm, CA and CS firm, these are the requirements. And if apart from these two organizations, guys, you want to do your articleship under any other organization, then what is the limit? Guys, I have bifurcated the other organizations into two parts. These are the organizations where no threshold limit is required, no threshold of revenue is prescribed by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. And these are the organizations where threshold is prescribed by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India for the articleship purposes. So guys, if you work under these organizations, okay, then no threshold will be seen, no turnover threshold will be seen. You will be given credit for the articleship. What are these organizations? If you work with central government, state government, semi-government, or public utilities, okay. So if you are working under any governmental organization, then you will be given credit for your articleship. You can do your articleship from bank, insurance company, or a financial institution. No turnover limit prescribed. No turnover limit prescribed. Bank, insurance, financial institution, public sector undertaking like Maharatnas, Navratnas, and yes, CMA student always dreams of working with PSUs, and if you get through a PSU, it will be a dream come true. So PSUs is eligible for giving training to the CMA students. Then universities, management institutions, and other educational institutions. So universities, management institutions, and other educational institutions, you can actually get your training in these organizations as well. So now, one very peculiar question which students ask me is, sir, is teaching in an organization, will it be classified as our practical training? Will it be eligible for our practical training? Answer is yes. If you teach somewhere and you teach in finance, accounts, tax, costing, these areas, then you will be given credit for that teaching experience also. So yes, you will be given credit for the teaching experience also. And if you are not teaching and in a university you are maintaining their accounts, in a management institution you are maintaining their accounts, you are doing their costing, you are doing their taxation, then also credit will be given to you. Cooperative society or an NGO, yes, under an NGO also you can do your training. But mind it, if you are doing your articleship under an NGO, then the work which you are supposed to do is not the NGO work. I mean, you should not be engaged in providing relief to the underprivileged people, but you should be doing accounting work for this NGO, you should be doing costing work for this NGO, you should be doing the prescribed work which is prescribed in this list, and you cannot do welfare work of an NGO and take credit for that. Credit is given if you are working for NGO or a cooperative society, but working in which areas? These areas. That is very, very important to be noted over here. So some students come to me and tell me, sir, our relative has an NGO and I'm working with that NGO, providing relief to underprivileged students, or taking care of dogs, street dogs. A very good cause, I appreciate that, but credit will not be given to you for working in that NGO, in that area, because these areas are very, very important. Okay. Okay, then management consultants, if you work under management consulting organizations, which are core organizations where management consulting is the thing which they do day in day out, and I've already discussed management consulting in my CA practicing CA part. Okay, then also you are eligible for your credit of your practical training. Now, if apart from these organizations, if you do your articleship under any other organization, like a private company, like a partnership firm, like a manufacturing company, like a service sector company which is providing services to some other person, then guys, you have to meet the organization has to meet the turnover criteria. Turnover criteria is that the organization, if it is in service sector, then it has to minimum have a turnover of 25 lakhs. And mind you, this is turnover, not profit. Turnover means gross sales. So this is turnover. Turnover of that particular organization should be 25 lakhs or more if you are under service sector. So how would institute know that turnover of that organization is 25 lakhs? So we'll say that organization turnover is 25 lakhs. No guys. Institute will ask for latest financial statements of the organizations where you are taking your articleship in. Institute will ask for balance sheet, it will ask for profit and loss account. So please don't think that you can do some hanky panky stuff with these limits. Okay, not possible. Institute is going to take proof before accepting your credit of practical training. If you work under any other sector means manufacturing sector, trading sector, any other sector apart from service sector, then the minimum threshold turnover criteria is 50 lakh rupees. That organization should have minimum threshold criteria of 50 lakh rupees as per the last audited balance sheet. As per the last audited balance sheet, at least the turnover should touch 50 lakh rupees. That is the criteria. And if that criteria is met, then you can do your articleship under any other organization. But these criteria of turnover should be met by that particular respective organizations. Now, last but not all the least, guys, what are the areas of work that a CMA student is expected to do, and it is to be in writing, specified and certified by the principal or by the company that you have done these stuff. Okay, this is not just for play sake. Okay, just for saying sake I'm saying this. No, you need to in writing submit in a certificate. You need to certify that I've done these things, any of these things in the organization. So whenever you appear for an interview in any organization, please ask them that, sir, out of these, which area of work are you going to offer me? Because if you offer me any other area of work apart from these, my institute is not going to give me credit for that. You need to ask your principal, you need to ask the organization where you are joining your practical training about these areas, because you can do your training only in these areas. What are these areas? Number one, management accounting or consultancy. So intermediate students, CMA intermediate student are very much aware about management accounting. This is a paper which is there in your group 2. Similar to costing, guys, similar to costing. So management accounting or management consulting, these are the two areas where you can do your articleship in. Cost and financial accounting, either cost accounting or financial accounting. Okay, you can write books of accounts. You can also maintain cost sheets of that particular organization. Auditing, yes, a very important area, guys. You audit financial statements or you audit cost statements of that particular organization. That is also eligible. Regulatory compliance. Now, regulatory compliance means FEMA, FERA, all the foreign exchanges which come and go outside India. That is one of the area where regulatory compliances are required to be done. If you are working in that area, then also you are eligible for your credit of your articleship. So regulatory compliance. Of course, direct and indirect taxes. Of course, the main and key area of work of a cost accountant is definitely taxation, and DT and IDT are two things where you can do your articleship. Law, anything related to law, corporate law, industrial law, any other law which is being in force in the country. So law is one area where you can do your articleship. ERP systems. Now this is something unique. Okay, so some organizations like Oracle, they offer CMA articleship to CMA students, and what kind of work do? They incorporate costing modules in their ERP using you guys, using your expertise. So ERP systems, if you are working under ERP system, developing modules for ERP systems, eligible for articleship. Banking, insurance operations, if you are doing any operations relating to banking or insurance, you will be able to get credence Valuation and insolvency, two emerging areas and amazingly rewarding areas. If you want to make a career out of these two areas, amazingly rewarding areas. Valuation of assets and liabilities and insolvency proceedings, if you do your articleship under these two areas, perfectly fine. Again, I've discussed this. Teaching, if you're a teacher and if you are teaching finance, accounts, tax, costing, then if you get a certificate from the institute where you are teaching at, then you get credit for this particular training experience also. Engineering services for production of power or other manufacturing goods or something like that. Okay, so if you are providing energy, if you are working towards engineering services, then also credits will be given to you. And I've already told this thing in many of my earlier videos, guys. Engineers do CMA to increase their future prospects. A lot of engineers around the country do CMA to increase their prospect, because engineering clubbed with costing is an ideal combination for industry, for a company. Then project planning, project management, quality assessment, supply chain management. These are certain areas where you can actually do your training and you will be given credence for that particular training. So yes, guys, this was a brief, okay? This was a brief of where you can do your articleship from, where you can register, what timelines are required to be followed by you while you're getting yourself registered. All these things I've tried to cover in this particular video. If still you have any problem left, please mention in the comment section below and I will definitely try to answer your query. And if you want to in detail study about these regulations, if you want to in detail refer to the text of these particular regulations, please refer to the prospectus syllabus 2002. This is the latest prospectus which has been released by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Please refer to this prospectus and go through the details. Page number 105 is the relevant page, and links to all the forms are given in that particular page. So yes, that's all for this particular video, guys. Once again, let me reiterate the offer which is available for all the CMA Intermediate student, Audit, DD, IDT, all these papers. Amazing discount is going on for your next attempt. And yes, let's study from the study material of the institute itself, and let's focus on the things which are relevant for you and ignore the things which are irrelevant for you, especially for audit, guys. You know, in auditing, if you refer to some other study material apart from your institute study material, then you're definitely going to go for a toss, because other institute study material content is too vast as compared to study material content which has been prescribed by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. So it's an appeal, it's a request. Please opt for teachers who are teaching exclusively to CMA students, so that study material of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India are covered under your coaching. And yes, that's all for this particular session, this entire practical training scheme. I hope it's clear to you. If any doubts, if any queries are still remaining unanswered in your mind, if you have any confusion regarding your articleship training, practical training, do comment in the comment section below and I will definitely make a video. If I get enough comments, okay? If I get enough comments, I'll make a separate video for it. That's all for this particular video, guys. We'll be meeting in our subsequent videos with more content exclusively for CMA students. Till that time, all the very best and happy studying.